Good evening, and this evening we're joined by newly appointed Head of Senior Football, is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
Thomas Baillie, good evening.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. So Tom, as I say, thanks for joining us. I know time out of your busy schedule, we were just talking about off air. Some fans have already met you, and some met you at the fans forum as well and got to speak to you and throw a few questions at you, which made you squirm a little bit, but it was all good. But what we'd like for you to do is just really use this opportunity to tell us and the fans a little bit more about yourself, really.
Sure. Obviously over the last few years, probably mostly known for obviously being manager at Kettering and involved in Kettering for a number of years. I think I was at Kettering for about 6 or 7 years in total. Obviously started off with the academy and all that side of things. Then obviously ended up going on to the first team, working with the likes of Dean Thomas, etc. as well. Obviously the first team at Kettering when they're even higher than the league they're in now, being part of it all. Just Kettering, done a good job there, and then went to Stratford, done a good job there, and then in between all that went to Norwich City as well.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about the academy at Norwich City.
Well, Norwich City, I was a Centre of Excellence manager at Norwich City for a couple of years, and obviously they were a Premier League club at the time. So you're dealing with a lot of sort of mainly mine was mainly 10 to sort of 16-year-olds, and obviously a couple of nights a week them coming in and training and etc. And at that time you work alongside the likes of Norwich City legends, really, like Darren Huckabee and all that sort of stuff. So it was all a good learning experience at the time, and thankfully now through my own stuff or the Norwich City stuff, you see there's a lot of lads that are playing in the Football League or higher divisions that you've had a part to play.
Away from football, is there Mrs. Baillie? Any kids?
Yeah, there's I think there is somewhere, but there's there's my wife, been married now for
too long,
yeah. Been together for 26 years. So wow. When I was 18 years old, so I was 18 and she was just 16, and she's 26 years later. We're still together. She's put up with me for that long. Probably been married for about 19 of them, I think it is.
And I know you're a busy man with the football and other aspects of your life as well, so probably the secret to a good marriage there, Tom, the fact that you don't actually spend that much time together.
Probably. Obviously I spend quite a bit of time away from home through my job and everything else, and quite a bit of travelling. Our children are older now, so our youngest is now at university, so we've got 2 children, a boy and a girl, and our youngest is at university, so it's gone full circle. It's back to just being the 2 of us again, which is great.
So your role here at TFC is Head of Senior Football? Yeah. Okay, so can you tell us exactly what that involves?
Yeah, realistically some conversations come about obviously with the club. They can see the strengths that are out with Andy and Gaz, and the strengths that they bring that they bring to the table and how well they're done. And obviously the club just decided that they've looked at my strengths over the years. Obviously they've probably known me for a few years now on and off, and thought would be a good mix together to all team up and get the best results.
Now this is a little concern for some fans, and I know you've had this directed at you already with the fans forum and individual fans coming up to you, and I know you really don't mind answering this now, but some fans do have the concern or the kind of opinion that if it's not broke, don't fix it. And of course Gaz and Andrew did so well at the end of last season. I think it was only 3 defeats in the league since they took over. So too many cooks in the kitchen? Is it blurred lines? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, in most footballs now you get a sort of director of football, a manager, assistant manager, a coach, etc, etc. At the end of the day, they've probably they've got strengths that I won't have, and I've got strengths that they won't have, and what we're doing is we're sort of putting it all together and coming out with the best formula to try and do well next season. Obviously in terms of the fans' point of view, they've probably known about this for a few weeks now, as I've said before, in terms of ending Gaz, they've known about it for a few months now, so it wasn't a surprise. My appointment somewhat got delayed. Obviously, I was in the playoffs with Stratford, so that delayed it. Also from there, I went away business-wise, sort of travelling for a while. So we just had some, as they say, dotting I's and crossing T's to go through, which sort of delayed it for a few weeks, and obviously some meetings with Gaz and Andy as well. But they, as I say, they've known probably since about April time that I'd be joining the club, and even before I was announced, we worked tirelessly on the selection of players that we would bring into the team.
Brilliant. Okay. You've worked with, well, you've already mentioned the likes of Stratford, Kettering, teams in and around Tamworth's level, and you've had success with them. I think you were quoting some stats to me before we went on recording that, crazy stats, 70-something% win rates with different clubs over the last 4 years or so.
Over the last 4 years, you're looking about, late 60-70% win rate. You're looking about a 15% sort of loss, and the same about a draw. So realistically, you're losing 1.5, maybe 2 games in every 10. If we can help Andy and Gaz here as well and lose 2 games in every 10, then we won't be far away from the top of the table.
No. It's also a question that some fans have said that, if you've done really well at the likes of Stratford more recently and took a struggling team into the playoffs, then why would you step away from that? What has lured you really to Tamworth?
We had a number of meetings, obviously, behind the scenes, and Tamworth's a huge club, and coming back here last year when we played Stratford played Tamworth last season, I have to be honest, it reminded me of the days of when I was at Kettering, where there was a massive buzz about the place, and you're waking up on a Saturday playing in front of 5, 6, 7, 800 people. Obviously at Stratford, we didn't have that last season, because obviously it's got a lot smaller fan base than a lot of clubs. So we didn't have that. You get the buzz about playing in front of loads of people and managing in front of loads of people, but of course also in terms of collectively or an individual, you want to, everyone's got aspirations, and they want to try and do as well as they can, and Tamworth off the field also matched what I felt my aspirations are for the future.
Okay. Do you feel that currently, at the state that Tamworth Football Club are in right now, that we are equipped for promotion?
I think I've said to a couple of people, and it's probably the best way I can describe it, when I speak to people at the club, it's a huge club, and there's lots and lots of great things go on here. I think the club behind the scenes is still run as a conference club, maybe even a conference prem club, but the actual body of it, the first team, is a couple of levels below that. And of course, when we've come here, we spoke to people, including Bob, Steve, and the setup here to try and for what we want to, the plans we want to put in to make everything successful here, it's been given to us. So everything that I've come in, and I'm sure it will, the things that I've wanted to implement, that I have done, the things we've wanted to implement as a structure that we have done, everything so far has been given to us to make it happen. And it's, I think as a club, very well could go and get promoted and handle the level above, but like I say, we're run like a conference club, but the body's not in the conference, unfortunately, and that's the job on the side of the pitch this year, that we've got to make sure that the body joins up with where the head wants to be.
Yeah, let's hope so. So you've been busy, obviously, adding to the squad. It seems that we've already seen the benefit of your local knowledge of local talent and the contacts that you have in the signings that we've managed to bring in so far. Just a couple of those really. James Fry, Dan Creaney recently. Tell us a little bit more about the players that have come in, and particularly those two.
Well, I think from the players that have come in, as I say, because obviously we've been working hard in the background, maybe without the knowledge of me being here. Between the three of us, we had a hit list. We had a hit list of players that we wanted to bring in. I would say that those that we've wanted to join the club, our first choices have joined the club. We're still in discussions with one, maybe two. If they come off, fantastic. If they don't, we're actually very happy with what we've got out there at the moment. In terms of in terms of it's been a team effort on numerous things. Obviously, myself, Andy and Gaz both met and chatted to Holdness. We've all chatted to everyone individually. Some of them we've come in here, we've met them. The players have been coming in here night after night, meeting myself and Gaz and Andy as well. So it has been a team effort, and no one's been signed by them that I'm not happy with. And on the other side, I haven't brought anyone to the table that they're not happy with it. It's been a team effort.
Okay.
Regarding the two players, Jimmy's 24, can play in numerous positions. He's got lots of energy, and he's a good player to sign. He's a leader. One thing that's probably was missing last year is that the fans for him, they said, was leaders on the pitch. He is one. Dan is, again, he's only 24, but he's big, he's strong, he's different to the other strikers if you look at the other strikers that we've got. And last season he was into double figures. The season before scored 30 something goals. Don't live too far away from here, so it's just ideal.
Okay. What are the key positions that you still want to fill?
I think we're probably more advanced than what we thought we were going to be. And like I said, there has been a lot of hours of work gone in behind the scenes, on lots of meetings with players, and I think if we were there at the moment, we're probably, between us, could probably name 9 or 10 out, what we believe will be 9 or 10 out of the starting 11 for next season. But saying that, there's also some players out there that are making us think, and that's why they're here. We're running our eye off a few players that have certainly been there and done it in this league, and certainly have got the potential. For me, I think Green went, and so for me that's the main position at the moment, is who fills the right back. I think other than that, we're about there, to be perfectly honest with you, and there's a couple of lads out there that I think can do very well in that position, and if they don't, it is pre-season. There's still another 5 or 6 weeks before the league starts, so we'll just go and find them.
Okay, wonderful. Tom, thank you very much for your time this evening. It's been really good getting to know you.
Thank you.
Viewers, please remember to hit subscribe and spread the word about Lambs Media. It really helps the more subscribers we have, and of course you will be notified of any new content as and when we put it up. Thank you.